Hello my friends, let's get some more light. It's a long-awaited return to the computer repair format that I originally did on my channel, with the coughing that I've added along the way. Acer Aspire 3 A315-21 series. Obviously I've taken all the screws out of the bottom because it's a waste of your time to have to sit here and watch me take every single one of these out. So, let's dig in. This one has a keyboard problem. Looks like I've already done an SSD upgrade to it. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's why it's got this sticker I had to cover up with the customer's information all over it. Let me darken this just a bit. I think I added too much light. And I don't know that I had to take that off. Anyway, someone sent me an international keyboard. Yeah, whatever. It'll probably still work. But you have to essentially gut the entire machine to do this. So we have to get these screws that were hidden by the panels out, which is just the never-ending story of laptop repair. If you want to fix a laptop, you have to take all these stupid screws out. It's just a constant. Also, I may have to rearrange things because this setup is not the way I would ideally like it to be. Let's get this drive out. Come on. This plastic gets brittle over time and doesn't want to play nice, so sometimes it's a little grouchy about coming out. I need you to come out, please. Thank you very much. Okay, don't come out. See if I care. I think I have to pry it. Oh, is that really what I have to do? Do I really have to pry it? I really don't like prying things. I can see that there's a lip here, so I think it actually comes out this way. Let's try it. Yeah, I think that's what's really going on. We have to pry it. Yep. I hate these weird rubber mounts that these things have. Anyway, let's see. Let's go ahead and get the drive out, because we have to take the whole thing apart anyway to get this motherboard switched over to the new base. I mean, we literally have to take the whole computer bottom half apart. God knows, we might even have to dig into the top half. I'm not looking forward to that if that's the case. So, if you have fingernails, you can probably just get your fingers under a corner, like I'm doing, and pry that sucker apart. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? No, it's not. I'm actually kind of starting to wonder. Oh, look. Directions. If this is the kind where the top plate here comes off. Come on. I think it might be, actually. Maybe. No, everything does in fact bolt down to that, so I just realized you can't see what I'm doing. This setup is really not ideal, I'm sorry. But yeah, we're prying this open. And yep, sure enough, it's all bolted there. So once you get in, shouldn't be too hard to convince it, yep, that we are the masters. Okay. First order of business, while we're in here, let's get that. Yeah. Gross. Is there still something in there? I could have sworn I saw something in there. This battery's swollen up. That's bad. I didn't know the battery was swollen up. That's... okay. Well, we need a new battery then. I guess I'll get that on order. I didn't take it apart before I just started doing this job. Does this have a... It looks like that should come back, but nope. Let's just pry the battery out. Yep, it just pries out and lifts up. There's nothing holding it in. Oh, that's dirty. What is this? What is this nonsense? Why is there like an empty cell? That is just... What the hell were you people thinking? I wonder, actually, that does make me wonder. Like, you can see there's this big empty... There's actually a lot of empty space in this case. That's a little weird. So, where did our drive go? Our drive actually went right there. when we had the original, yeah. So the empty space here actually goes to a drive. So that wouldn't be anywhere for a battery, but this is still a void as well. I do wonder what would go there if it was a bigger, fancier machine. Or if this is just to extend a motherboard that they used in multiple models. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if they had a small machine and that this daughter board over here is because... Now look at that nonsense. They actually push it under the battery too. What in the hell is going on here? This is really annoying. Okay. So, real quick, let's look at this. So this is our replacement. And it does generally look the same, except for the international keyboard. I also just noticed this daughter board came with it for some reason. So whoever salvaged this, I have questions about them. But the daughter board's identical, but we will have to move the power jack. Yep, so the part looks compatible. That's fun. So let's just get removing. First order of business is get all these flat cables, etc. out of here. Let me darken it just a bit more. They have so much light that the camera is kind of angry about it. Get this tape off of here, and we'll just never put it back because I'm lazy. This tape was never applied properly. What the hell? Why was this tape never applied properly? Well, who cares? It's also not going back. This one's loose. This one will be. This right here, I bet that's speakers. I haven't looked, but it looks like speakers. And this right here. So, get out of there. Get out of there. There you go. All right. Our power jack is going to come with us, so I'm actually going to leave it plugged in. The fan's going to come with us. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave some of this plugged in. Let's get this over here. Video out. I'm really bummed about finding out about that battery. I'm also worried about this battery. I need to test the voltage on it. But it is a newer machine, so it's probably, and by newer I mean it's not like 14 years old. So it may not need it. Also, there's an NVMe slot here, which makes me question why there's a regular SSD. Probably due to costs or parts availability at the time that I installed it. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee that that's what happened. Not having NVMe drives on hand has been an issue in the past. So, we need to get these hinges removed. Let's unscrew these. I might adjust the camera, actually. Hold on a second. Let's get it to where you don't see the foot, and instead you see the workbench. And I'll move it back a little bit more, I think. Didn't really help that much, but okay. I promise I'm going to stop messing with the camera. I'm going to get this hinge out. And this is one of the things I've always liked about some of these older Acers in particular, is that this Acer, basically all of these screws that hold any of this chassis stuff together are the same length. I bet you the fan screws, yep, they're the exact same thing. So the case screws, the fan screws, the hinge screws, almost all the screws except for the thin ones on the motherboard for things like heat sinks, they're all the same. So you don't actually have to sit there and track every single little screw that you remove from these Acers, or at least from this one. So, alright, the top half, I didn't yank the Wi-Fi antennas. That's going to be a problem. Normally when I have to yank the Wi-Fi antennas, when we get to that point, I don't like putting the antennas back. It's dicey, and I've actually broken these antenna mounts on a computer before, or on a card before. So I'll usually take the whole card out and leave the antennas attached, because that way I don't have to reattach the antennas themselves, because I'm very concerned about that. Alright, we should be able to separate that because we got the hinges, the display cable, and the Wi-Fi unhooked. And for now, let's just move this away. Okay. So we don't need the daughter board. We can leave that attached, but we do need this DC jack, so we can't leave that attached. It's taped here, and that just kind of came up. So, okay, the fan is free. Oh, Jesus, there really was something big in there. Look at that. Look at the size of that dirt wad. Oh, man, I'm going to guess this owner had some dogs or cats or something. Is there anything else in that fan? Let's find out. Oh, you can see it coming out of the keyboard too. I wonder if the animal hair has something to do with the keyboard failure. Anyway, this is surprisingly going extremely well. I see one screw here holding the board in for sure. And the daughter board doesn't come with us. The DC jack's just floating. The fan is just floating because I took the screws out of it. So I've taken a total of 2 flat screws, the Wi-Fi and this motherboard screw here. There's another motherboard screw over here, way over here. Yeah. And I don't think I see any more motherboard screws, so I think this board will just lift up. Let's move the fan to come with it. Don't lift by the heat pipe, by the way. That can end very badly for you. So be careful about that. But I still feel some resistance, I think, to this board coming up. I think it's this. I think it's this NVMe socket over here, actually. This is a surprise. Yeah, okay. So I haven't ever fully disassembled one of these before that I'm aware of. But it appears this NVMe socket here is actually the culprit. Let me see if I have a... Yep, there we go. In my little computer toolkit over here, I do in fact have a socket. So this nut here that has the NVMe retaining screw, this nut right here is holding the board down too. An interesting choice considering there's literally a board screw right there beside it. Why did you do that? But we'll give them a pass because they've made this an incredibly easy process. According to the camera, I've only been doing this for 12 minutes and I think I'm done with the removal. Let's make sure we're not missing anything. Oh, we're missing something. I can see this right here doesn't exist on the new one. So, yep, the speakers, sure enough, have to be transferred. That's really fun. But that's not Acer's fault. That's whoever sent it, for some reason, left the daughter board, but took the speakers. Thanks, guys. That was very handy. Very helpful thing you did there. And there's like a piece of metal here, like a little green wire in the speaker. Probably isn't helping anything. The speaker wire also seems to be stuck under this sticky bit. So let's get these speakers out real quick. Let's figure this out. So the speaker wire is under this adhesive here. I mean, we're throwing away this whole part, I believe, so it's not a big deal if we bust something, but I still don't want to intentionally just go crazy on it in case something does go wrong. Yeah, this adhesive is just falling apart anyway, so let's just pull on it really hard and see what happens. Give me the speaker wire, please. Thank you. Yeah, get off of there, you bastard. Okay, there we go. Yeah, get all this sticky. Come on. Like I said, this plastic gets brittle after a while, and this isn't exactly a new computer. Yeah, see, we can access the touchpad. Makes me wonder why they didn't take out the touchpad and try to resell it separately, too. That's the kind of stuff that people tend to do. So their choices, I have a few questions about them. Anyway, we need to unroute this speaker wire here and unroute this speaker wire here. Pretend like we're actually looking at it to remember how to put it in the new unit. Hint, I'm probably not actually looking at it. This speaker is stuck. It looks like adhesive. Yep, it's adhesive. Lovely. Can't say I'm thrilled about that. So we'll just, knowing that the speakers are attached using sticky stuff, we'll just pry it up. There we go. Okay. Now, the new international friendly version, which is not what I meant to order, but I'm suspicious that maybe they sent the wrong part, but I don't really care as long as it works. We need to route in our speaker wires. You remember that routing, right? No, you don't, because you didn't actually look, or at least I didn't, because I don't care that much. I just want the damn thing to work. Anywho, that landed in the groove beautifully, but the problem is, how the hell did they get the speaker wire out with this adhesive in the way here? It makes me worry what they did to get the old speaker wire out, because now I'm working on the new part. Oh, that adhesive is very weak. Oh, that adhesive is quite weak compared to the other one. It's, I'm just gonna guess that this is either newer or it's weak because they went to the trouble of meticulously pulling it up so they could sell the speakers but not the touchpad for some reason. Alright, can we... Yeah, this is no fun. Getting stickers to unstick is by far one of the more annoying parts of this whole thing. Come on, get out of there. So I've spent more time on these stickers, I feel, than most of the disassembly work. So, yeah. Get this sticker up off the mouse and, yeah. Access the channel here where, well, I don't think that sticker's new because it's got some crud on it from a previous owner. So let's do this. We know the speaker goes over here somewhere. We know the wire has to go under. Let's get the wire under as quickly as possible. Get it in these little notches, routing it under the sticky part, under the mouse cable, whatever. Alright, problem solved. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey. It doesn't want to go under. Oh, but then I complained and it did. There's another there. Okay, so we've got it routed under the sticky part. Let's go ahead and get the sticky part taken care of so we don't have to worry about it anymore. Keyboard back. This sticky part right here is, I feel, completely unnecessary. And I'm the kind of person that would cut it off, but I don't want to damage anything. I don't want to find out the hard way that something shorts out because of it, so I don't. Route the rest of the cable here. You notice how this cable routing consumes much more time than the actual installation of the speaker where it goes. Also, we appear to have some slack because it doesn't actually want to stay routed. So that kind of worries me a little bit. Let's pull the slack over here so we can deal with it over here. We probably are supposed to have that slack, actually. There we go. By the way, these metal pry tools, this is part of a clay modeling toolkit you can find all over the place. eBay, I think some dollar stores, but this is the tool that I use to pry stuff instead of those stupid plastic picks. I hate them so much. Just make sure you don't pry anything where it'll short and you'll be okay. It'll all be okay. I promise. People love to give me crap for it. And yet, I've never blown anything up with one. So, here we go. Here we go. Put the board back. Okay. Didn't quite drop where it needed to. Come on, board. Go back. Drop. There's a big ring right there that it has to fall on. Let's make sure the fan drops where it belongs. Yeah, there's like a slot. You can actually see there's like a slot here. So you have to slide the fan onto that post and then drop it. The DC jack needs to go back to its new home. All right. They taped it before. I don't know if I feel like taping it, so I'm just going to leave it for now. If I don't have to tape it, I'm not going to. Okay, we need to reattach cables, but first I want to make sure everything else is solid. So this little stud or whatever, this nut that goes to the NVMe post, tighten that snug, but not too tight. It might break. I don't want to find out the hard way that it will break. I don't need a number 0 Phillips, so let's switch back to the number 1 Phillips to put the screw for the NVMe here. Although now that I'm looking at it, I realize the reason there's a nut here is because this is actually rigged so you can use probably 2242 drives or 2280. So that's actually a good thing. I may have undersold that good decision, so I take it back. That's a good choice. Put the screw back here and here that hold the motherboard down. Now, there's one more flat screw, and that goes to the Wi-Fi, but let's go ahead and get everything else screwed down first. Let's get the fan back down. All right. Normally I just say reassembly is the reverse of disassembly, but this time, especially since this is so easy, I don't see the point. Let's just do it together. Excuse me for the coughing. Fans down. I may want to actually, let's check this thermal paste. I know that this is like an AMD A9, one of the newer ones, but still, thermal stuff can be a big problem, and this computer, what was the number on it? It says manufacture date 2018. It's newer than I thought it was, but it still is an 8-year-old computer as of this video. I gotta be honest, that thermal paste actually looks pretty decent, though there does seem to be a bit of a gap right there in the middle. So can we just maybe we can scoot it around and fill the gap back in? That might work, but I don't know. See, I don't know if I applied this paste or not. I don't think I did. Okay, verdict, nope. So let's get a paper towel and let's get some isopropyl alcohol. All right, a little alcohol and some of this. I just realized that's what I forgot to order, was more Noctua NTH1 thermal paste. We'll put a little alcohol. Alcohol generally won't hurt electronics, by the way. And this is 70%. You don't want to use the 90% or higher because it will leave a residue. But this 70% isopropyl will dissolve this thermal paste. I used to just do it the hard way by physically just scrubbing. And thanks to some viewer whose name I've forgotten by now, who said, why don't you just use isopropyl alcohol? And I was like, because I taught everything to myself over the course of, 2.5 decades or more, maybe 3 decades. I don't remember when I started doing anything beyond, just basic programming on a computer. So, yeah, this heatsink paste here is not going to come up off the entire chip. So I think what we're going to do is just blot it a bit. I'm not worried about it. The paste is non-conductive, so if it gets all over the place, I don't really care. What I do care about is that the surface is dry when I apply the new paste, so we're just going to give it a little pat or two here to get the alcohol off and put some new paste. I know this is a low wattage chip. It's a low power computer. It was probably pretty cheap. But if we're going to go to all the trouble of refurbishing this computer, we may as well do it correctly. I am really bummed about the battery though, because this keyboard Palmrest assembly cost me like $50, $60. I don't remember the exact amount. But anyway, I don't do things the way other people do. The directions for a lot of this thermal paste says to put like a P in the middle based on the size of the plate or whatever, and then squish it down. But I usually distribute it ahead of time. And I've heard people say, but if there's an air bubble in there, it will ruin your thermals. To which I respond, I doubt there's an air bubble in there, but also I've done it this way for a long time and it's worked for me. So that is the difference between theory and actual practical field work, is that I do it the way that works for me. Part of that way is I put it down and smush it around just a little bit, and then often at an angle have to lift it back up because it gets suctiony, just to see the distribution. Distribution's great. The way I see it, once I screw this down, it's going to push it all out anyway. So I don't actually have to worry too much about air bubbles. We're going to put it down on number 1 here first, and then we're going to put it down on 2, just like the little numbers tell me to do. Look, I'm following directions. It's rare, but it does happen. Yeah. And then 3. And the truth is, if there's an air bubble in there, I probably don't care. It's already got an integrated heat spreader, so it doesn't really matter that much. If we get the vast majority of the surface, then who cares? All right, let's hook some wires up. We need to hook up this wire. This is the international keyboard that may not work properly. I have no idea. I've actually never used an international keyboard of this sort. This is the first time I think I've ever gotten my hands on a 104 key style keyboard. The international keyboards I've seen have been stuff like a Japanese keyboard with English letters on it. But this is probably the first time I've gotten a true so-called international keyboard in my hands. So we reattached these 3. The Wi-Fi card's still missing, the display's still missing. The daughter board is this one. Why does it look like it's off? It's not off here. You can actually see the white line here. Sometimes these flat cables can be very annoying. I'm going to make sure that this screw that they left on this daughter board is attached all the way. It does seem to be. Looks like they tried to remove it and did a crap job. Always use the biggest screwdriver that actually fits, because otherwise you chew up the hole. Anyway, let's see. So big question number 1 is, do we put the slightly puffed up battery back in? I don't think that's the best idea. I think I should order one. Yep, turns out that battery probably would set the world on fire, so we're just not going to use it. All right, let's get this over with. So here's our beautiful clean screen. We will definitely be cleaning that. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe we should go ahead and get some of the grit off of this thing. Oh no, why you do this? Why you do this? Why do people do this? I'm so glad laptops come with privacy screens now, because I swear, I'm so tired of this crap. Nasty, nasty screens. We're just going to get most of the crud and electrical tape residue off of it so that it doesn't dirty up our pretty new used stock whatever international keyboard thing that may not even work. So the thing is, I'm probably going to end up selling this computer. I think they're about to go get a new computer, and they're going to pay me for the data transfer to the new computer, rather than continue to pay to repair this. So I may as well get it as good as I can if I'm going to end up reselling it. So let's get that tape residue. It needs a much firmer hand than the rest of it. Nasty. I wish people would not put electrical tape over, or any gooey stuff over the camera. But I understand why they do it. I don't know why they can't just put a sticky note and fold it over like a civilized human being. But hey, you know, whatever. Alright, that's not going to be beautiful, but it's better than nothing. So we'll just, yeah, I'm not exactly the best cleaner of screens, as you can see. We'll go ahead and get some of this grit off. Same thing here. May as well try to just give it a quick pre-clean just while we're at it. Maybe get some grit off the desk while we're at it too. All right, let's slide it in. There we go. Now we just have to connect a few things, put about 1 billion screws back in, and that'll be the end of this. Thank God. Okay. All right. So I accidentally slapped all the screws, so they've sort of floated over there somewhere. Hang on, and I'll siphon them up. Bring them closer to the work area. There we go. Here's our Wi-Fi screw. Let's get the cable routed really fast. Not that it really needs any fancy pants routing. It kind of went that way, so that's the way we're going to do it. All right. Hold that thought. So it goes under this finger here, and this finger here, and this finger here. I don't know what the correct term is, so they're fingers now. Goes through this little slit here. There's a finger here. So you kind of have to hold it in one spot and slide it around the other little finger or whatever yourself. This Wi-Fi card has a little tiny book on the bottom. Isn't that cute? I do not care. Let's plug it in. There you go. And it came out of that one. Let's put it back where it was. Okay. All right, I think that routing's good. Get that screw in there. Good stuff. Okay. That kind of felt like it might have stripped the threads, but nah, maybe not. Anyway, you do have to be careful not to over-tighten things. It can end poorly. We're going to put these hinges down, make sure they land on these plastic posts. Land on the posts. There's a little arrow where the original screw went that I would have taken out earlier, so I don't have to remember that. I just put it where the arrow is. All right. These hinges don't seem to have tightened over time, which makes me very happy. Okay. We still have 100 million screws, but I don't think we need any of those screws here. This didn't come up. This is good. This is down. This, we never unplugged that in the first place. Okay, I think we might be clear to go ahead and put it back together all the way. The battery will stay out, unfortunately. So actually, what I think I'm going to do is, I have these little things called baguettes. If I can find one for you. Hang on. Yeah. So this is a baguette. It's just a teeny plastic bag. So what I'm going to do, since I still have to put the battery in, I don't want to take all these screws back out. So what I'm going to do is take a screw or two for each hinge. We're going to put these hinge screws back so that if I open the computer, the hinge isn't being stressed, or rather the single contact point that I screwed down is not being stressed. If I put the two screws that correspond to the hinge back in, and I actually, because I can't see it, I can't remember, it's possible that I'm wrong on this, so I'm going to go ahead and put all three for each corner back in. but I'm going to leave the rest out so I don't have to do as much work when I have to put the battery in when it comes in a week. It's going to take a solid week for it to show up. The computer being about 8 years old means that CMOS battery probably still has 6 years or so of useful life, maybe a little less because it's a small one. But if I find out that it needs replacement, it looked like a CR1616, and those are readily available. So I just noticed the hard drive is serviceable, the RAM is serviceable, but the NVMe drive is not. That's really frustrating. Oh well, that might also be why I didn't put an NVMe drive. I probably never opened it this far in the first place. I am a little concerned here. I may actually go ahead and put... No, I'll leave the screw out. It'll be fine. I don't want to put this back. I really don't want to put this back. You know what? Let's do a mod. Hang on. So this thing sits in here and it squeezes just a little too hard. So what I'm gonna do is this nubby part right here, right? I'm just gonna shave just a little bit off of that. It's pretty soft because it's like rubber. So I'm just gonna carve a very small portion off of each side so that it doesn't bite quite so hard when you put it in here. Just a little bit. Although it seems like this is actually the bigger problem. Probably can't do much about it. So I'm just gonna not get it in, and yeah. I mean, it may help, it may not, but whatever. At least I tried. Have to reattach this wonky hard drive cable, which is always a bit of a bear because it's in this hole here and it's hard to line it up properly. But oh, there it goes. There it goes. Isn't that nice? Isn't that wonderful? Okay. The doors can go back on. I definitely need to upgrade this RAM. If I'm going to resell this, 4 gigs is not sufficient. So that's on the to-do list. But right now, all I'm concerned with is getting this thing up to where I can pull the data off of it without having to hook the drive to the other computer. And I just realized there's no battery because I unhooked the battery because it was going to catch on fire. So let's find this, but that's basically it. I mean, the only other things I would have had to do would be to put all those screws back in, and that's it. You've got a complete disassembly. So this is where I leave you. I have software side work to do. Let's see what happens with this international keyboard. Well, anyway, I hate this keyboard already. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.